I'm Eitan Weinstein.
And I'm Naor Menninger. And you're listening to Two Nice Jewish Boys.
This podcast is made in collaboration with the Jewish Journal. We forgot to press record. When I say we, I mean he. So we're going to do the intro again really quick for you guys, okay?
Go.
So this is the little intro we wrote. We all have aspirations in life. Some of these goals we might achieve through hard work, taking risks, and making tough sacrifices. Now I can look more at the camera because I already have practiced it. Others we might struggle with our whole lives but never accomplish. This is why when we see someone who has done something great, we look up to them with admiration. When you set your mind to something and you persevere, people can't help but appreciate the feat. Yuval Feldman is a rising star in the New York culinary scene. She graduated the Culinary Institute of America, one of the top cooking schools in the U.S., where she specialized in desserts. Then she immediately started working at, here it goes, L'Atelier de Joel Robuchon, a 2-star Michelin restaurant. She also worked in the bakery of Dominique Ansel, who was elected the world's top confectioner in 2018. But as if all
17.
that wasn't 2017?
Yeah.
But as if all that wasn't enough, she then started working in the Manhatta restaurant, one of Danny Meyer's restaurants, where she became a sous chef, a really rare privilege at such a young age. Now she's here for a short time before she goes back to the Big Apple. Yuval Feldman joins 2NJB to talk about New York City's culinary scene. What makes a good muffin? And the question of the century, peanut butter or jelly or peanut butter and chocolate. We discussed it already, guys. So we're going to have to give you a short summary. Basically, she said...
Peanut butter and chocolate.
You agreed?
Yes.
I think you're both completely wrong.
And now
we'll continue.
we'll move on.
That was very professional, I feel like.
Yes, it was. So what's up, Yuval?
That was actually a really good question.
Thank you.
I wanted to change it, but I'm always wrong.
Yeah, you are.
You are.
Wow. So Yuval, first things first. What you see here, guys, is we basically got treats.
Always.
What do we
I
have
always
here?
bring treats. Okay, so they're chocolate chip cookies, basic but the best. They have dark milk and white chocolate, and they're freshly baked and nice and gooey on the inside. And then we have an apple tart, which is it has like a sablé on the bottom, which is like a crispy cookie, and then a cake and layers of thin apples that I just like peeled with a peeler, and then there's dried caramel inside, and then it's baked for 2 hours. And then on top, it's like white chocolate whipped cream, which is really good too.
So, but this dessert is special, right?
Yeah. So
Why?
this dessert.
This I mean the apple tart.
The apple, yeah. So at Robuchon, we had an apple a tart plate, and this is one of the tarts. It was just a little longer in shape and not square, but this is the exact same.
Oh
my mind immediately goes to this. Oh, it's so Jewish. I'm like, didn't he copyright the tart? Like, how
That's
come?
exactly what I was thinking.
How come
But I didn't
you
wanna
are
be-
allowed to fucking make it to us? This should be illegal.
Can you even copyright food?
So when we make stuff, we have our notebooks. Well, we're supposed to have our notebooks, and then you just write the recipe and the method so you can make it again and again without always looking at the recipe book that we have at the restaurant.
This didn't answer my question at all.
So technically, no, but it's not that I'm like giving you guys the recipe. It's not that I'm publishing the recipe
But
online.
what's preventing you from opening a bakery in Tel Aviv and making...
Loyalty?
Okay, fair enough.
I would.
Really? There's no
Yeah.
patents in the cooking world? Like, it's not like if you use that recipe, he could sue you?
I'm pretty sure, yeah, I can.
Oh, okay.
He can,
So there
okay.
is. There is
Yeah.
like intellectual property when
Yeah.
it comes to recipes.
Interesting. Unless he publishes it in a book, I guess, and then
Yeah.
it's more
No,
legitimate.
there is. She's saying there is intellectual property. Like, he could sue her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
when you get a new job and you sign all the forms,
I
you
see,
say
I
that you're not gonna take
Yeah.
recipes, you're not gonna take pictures.
Well,
and stuff.
let's take a step back because well, we need to take several steps back, but one step back. Who's
I want to
Robuchon?
take a step forward and eat that. So
Just a second. Just a second.
Damn it.
Be patient.
Patience.
Be patient.
It's in front of him, so.
Yeah. Who's
Okay.
Robuchon? For those who do not know.
Okay, so he's one of the best chefs, not pastry chefs, in the world.
He's alive?
No, he passed away about 6 months ago, I think, maybe more. He's French.
Didn't he commit suicide?
No, he died of cancer.
Okay.
So he had the most Michelin stars in the world, from L'Atelier, and he has, I don't know exactly how many locations, but around the world, from 1 star to 3 stars, and very, very well known.
And
so
did you-
like all together, all the stars, he has the most Michelin
Yeah,
stars.
he
I see.
had 32 when he passed
that's
away,
insane.
but now more restaurant got reviews, so they got more.
And he's French.
He is French.
And did you get to meet him?
I did not, unfortunately, because he was supposed to come to New York, I think in June, and then he didn't feel well, so he didn't come. And then he was supposed to come in October, and then he passed away in July, so I didn't see.
I see.
Yeah, unfortunately.
So let's take another
Yes.
step back,
Okay.
as hard as this is for me to do. But what about you? We know about now a little bit about Robuchon.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll talk more about him. But you grew up here in Israel. Where
Yeah.
exactly?
I was born in Ovda, which is an airbase.
Down south.
Yeah.
In the desert.
Yeah. And then we moved with my dad's job, well, the Air Force. We moved to Hatzerim, also
Not their
Air Base.
base,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then we moved to Reut, which is Modi'in Maccabim Reut.
Yeah.
All
It's
together.
basically a village of military people.
Exactly.
So
Everyone
where-
came together.
Where in this, like growing up on Air Force bases
Yeah.
in the middle of the desert, how did you go from there to
Did you-
making like little delicate
Did you ever eat in
pastries?
an IDF base?
Yeah.
It makes you want
Well, to
Exactly.
be honest, I don't really remember any of the air bases, like living there. And then when we moved to Reut, I did remember this stuff. And then when I started 5th grade, we moved to the Philippines.
Really?
Wow.
You didn't know that, right?
No,
I did, but
Oh,
he
you did?
didn't.
Oh, okay.
no, I didn't. I didn't know that. Wait, you moved to the Philippines
Yeah.
also as part of your father's job?
Yeah, but
Manila?
not for the Air Force. Yeah, and then we lived 3 years over there, and then we moved to Austria and Vienna.
So do you
For
talk
one.
how is this called?
Tagalog.
Tagalog?
Yeah.
You speak it?
No, I don't. I know how to say a few words, but not really, because everyone speaks English over there, so you
Right,
don't
right,
really
right.
need to know.
So
And
from the Philippines, sorry, where to?
Vienna, Austria.
Vienna, Austria.
Yeah. Very different.
Yes, there you have a culture of
Yeah.
cakes and pastries. and
Yeah, I didn't
food.
like it then.
Still don't?
I do now.
Okay.
Not everything, but I do now.
So
I
what?
actually like. Sorry, I actually
No,
like
no, no.
making stuff more than eating it.
Really?
Yeah.
How come?
I don't know. I even like making desserts that are like for a 3 Michelin star restaurant than eating at a 3-star Michelin restaurant.
It's interesting because, you know, when you see the chefs, they're
Yeah.
chubby. Many of them are, at least here in Israel. Maybe in America it's different. But chefs get to be chubby from eating their own food, right? So I guess it's
Yeah.
better to prevent, yourself.
chubbiness.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, first of all, it's not healthy, and also I do acro, so I kind of need to not eat everything.
Not eat,
And
period.
I just like to taste and not eat. So
What's
I
acro?
acro yoga. It's just like handstands, flipping and stuff. I love it. I
Yeah.
did gymnastics since I was 5.5, so that's
Actually,
another thing.
guys, if you go to Yuval's Instagram, we'll link, and you can see like crazy shit that she does.
Yeah.
Basically, she does.
Yeah,
like,
my Instagram is a mix of food, desserts,
You should
and
create
acro.
like a like a fusion of them, like do like acro pastry.
Yeah,
yoga.
like one arm handstand and holding a
Yeah.
pastry.
No, but
eating it.
seriously, she's
Working on it.
she's doing crazy things there, like pyramids of people and
That's insane.
kinds of things.
I love listening to people that don't do it.
Why? Because of the terminology? Pyramid?
People and people.
Yeah, it's like an orgy of.
That's what it is.
I don't think I have that
Acrobats.
picture on Instagram, but
Okay, so you moved around. So
Yeah.
where does food come
Into
to
the
play
picture.
part in your life?
since I was young, I loved being in the kitchen. My mom just makes desserts and food really, really well.
What are the nationalities at home?
Polania.
Poles.
Poland on both sides?
Yeah.
I see. Not a great culinary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but we have good food at home. But then my mom is just wants to get it done and over with. So the only thing she let me do is like lick the spatula from the chocolate batter cake.
Right.
So when I grew up, I just started making stuff at home, and I loved it. And especially loved seeing people eating it.
Do you remember the first thing you made?
I don't think so. No. But it might be chocolate chip cookies. I'm not sure.
Okay.
It was
What
very
was-
basic.
What was like the big dessert, your first big dessert that you kind of perfected and made well and you remember it?
So I had a few cakes that now I don't really make because it's not my passion, but all the fondant cakes and stuff. So when my dad had his last flight at the Air Force, there was like a big celebration, and I made this huge cake of, how do you say the knafaim?
Wings.
Fetites. Yeah, the wings.
The wings of
Yeah.
the flight.
Yeah, so I made it as a cake, and it was very big.
Oh, how old were you at the time?
20, I think.
20.
Yeah.
Wow, so that's young to already start kind of.
So yeah, that
baking
was
that.
something that I was very proud of because it was the biggest cake I've made. But again, now I don't do fondant cakes because it's not. I mean, I love doing everything, but you need to have specialty in something, and I think you should focus on something and not like many things. So
But in Israel, we have a pretty sophisticated cooking culinary scene here.
yeah.
Basically, you can, and there's demand also. So you could like study here, perfect your skills here. You could
Yeah.
have done that.
I know.
So why
Maybe it'd be even less competitive.
why culinary studies abroad, and why in America? Why not in Paris or something? I mean, country isn't known for.
Yeah, so I did
Known for the
look.
peanut butter jelly jars.
I did look to study here in Israel, but I wanted something more than to like twice a week, half a day. I wanted something that is every single day from, I don't know, 7 to 7. I don't mind even if it's longer. And there's nothing like that here. So I did want something that would open up doors after school. And the Culinary Institute of America did that for sure.
So tell us about the day that you applied, I'm assuming, and then
Yeah.
tell us about the day you got.
And how do you get in?
Yeah.
Okay, I started emailing someone over there when I was still in the army. And then we were just emailing back and forth and seeing if I can come. And then she told me how much it was, the tuition. And I was like, okay, wow, there's no way I'm going there because it's very expensive. And then I just left it like that. That was, I think, in 2014. So that was a year and a half before I did finish my service. And then once we saw that the school here, I was still in the army, but I was like about 3 months out of it. We started looking into schools here, and then we saw that it just wasn't the level that I'm looking for. So I emailed her again and asked her if I can come and see the school because we were just like going to the area around so we can just pass by and look at it. And once we were there, it was just like the perfect match because it was just, even the smell was the same smell that I had in school in the Philippines, and it just made me feel at home. It's just those little things that you always remember. And that was still not 100% sure that I would get accepted and that I would have like the amount of money that they asked for. But it was definitely the school that I wanted to go to. So once we came back, it was just a question of how we can make it happen. I even remember my dad, he was like, "Do you see yourself here in 6 months?" And I was like, "Yeah, I think so." So I was asking her if I can start school in like September the following. So it was, we came there October 15. So I asked her if like a year later I can start. And she's like, everything is full. So either you can start in January or you can start in
2 years from then.
no, in July. And we were talking actually when it was February. So I was like, okay, so I don't want to start in like January because that's very late. And I'll take July. And she's like, okay, oh, I made a mistake. You're actually going to pastry, not to culinary. So I have only in May or in January. And I was like, okay, January is no because that's very late for me. May is like in 2 months. Okay, I'll take May. So it was just like after I got accepted, it was just very, very fast.
So how do you
It
get
was
accepted though?
crazy.
I mean, do you have to bake something? What's the process?
It used to be 6 months of experience. Now I don't know if they ask it anymore. But they did want to ask to see that you're coming and you know what you're getting into because this industry is very, very hard. It's a lot of hours that you have to stand up and you can't be lazy. So once you have 6 months, you kind of know what you're getting into. I don't know if that's still a requirement. Definitely money is a big part of it.
Like every school in America, basically.
Yeah, yeah.
But is there some kind of application, or is it mainly just if you're able
There
to?
is an application. Don't remember exactly what
Okay.
it is, but there is an application.
And the studies
yeah.
themselves, they're challenging, they're excruciating. Any
That's not many options. It's like challenging or
It's not.
excruciating.
It's not that challenging. I don't think so.
okay,
I think just
that's an
definitely
anticlimactic
the
answer.
money is like a big part of it.
Okay.
I feel like.
And then when you're there and you're starting to learn, what was you were mentioning that it opens a lot of doors. What
Yeah.
was the first door that kind of opened, and how did that happen?
Um, we have 5 semesters, and then on the third semester you go to an externship. So you get help through school, and there's a list of many, many restaurants and bakeries in the U.S. and outside of the U.S. But I wanted to focus on the U.S. And then there's also it's called career fair. So it's once every semester that a lot of chefs from restaurants and bakeries come to recruit us, the students, either for externship or for after graduation, so you can come and work. And I went to work for Bouchon Bakery, so it's also in New York, and it's from Thomas Keller Restaurant Group, and it was a great experience. I mean, as an extern, you always get kind of like the easy stuff to do, but it was my first job in English, so it was still learning, and I mean, I loved it, so it
What's
was nice.
I've heard of intern. What's an extern?
It's the same.
Okay. Just in
I
the
don't know
cooking,
why in school we called it extern, but it's an internship. It's the
Okay.
same. Yeah.
I see. It's like a New Yorkie thing.
Yeah. So, I mean, I didn't know that I would come back to New York after graduation because I said it's so expensive. So, I did live in Manhattan and I loved every minute of it. It was 3 months of just great experience, work wise, living wise. It was amazing. So, that was like the first job.
Were you like was New York always kind of, did you grow up like, oh my God, the Big Apple, or was that not a thing for you?
I mean, I love New York, but it wasn't like going to school because of it, New York. I
Yeah.
mean, school was 2 hours north from New York, so
Ah, really? It's
yeah,
outside of the city.
yeah, it's in Hyde Park, so it's
Okay.
just it's not living in New York. There are schools that are in Manhattan, but that school wasn't. And also, my mom was a flight attendant, so I used to travel a lot.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like
And you grew up in
going
the
to New York.
Philippines, so
Yeah.
yeah,
So
you had already been around the world.
yeah.
I see.
And English wasn't like a big challenge for me because I lived outside of Israel. So I mean, definitely that helped because I feel like if I didn't know English, then that would be a big step back.
I wonder, do you feel, because now you're getting kind of media coverage, and I mean, this isn't anything near what you've gotten already. I mean, you've been in
Israel.
in Israel on
Yeah.
several shows, and I wonder if there's any kind of sense of being, an ambassador, because usually Israel likes to make its successful people abroad their ambassadors. Like, oh, look at all these people. Do you feel that? Do you like it? Do you not? What's
I think since went to the CIA, the school, by myself and not with my family, and I got exposed to so many other people. But this time again, I was just by myself. I kind of realized how Israeli I am. And
Really?
yeah.
I didn't see that coming. You know that.
Yeah.
yeah?
How can you?
Because you don't strike like you don't like seem like particularly Israeli at first.
Yeah, so I mean, when I lived here, it was just I mean, there's so many different types of Israelis, but once you're outside, there's so many people, and I don't know, I'm just so Israeli.
In what way? What do you feel?
I don't know, just like I feel like in the States, people trying to make stuff prettier than they are. And in Israel, we're just like, no, that's how it is. And even like once we studied at school, it was just once there was like a chef that was tougher, then people just didn't realize that it's for their, like, to make them better. And they didn't know how to accept that it's not good enough. Or
I don't. Again.
That their work isn't good enough.
yeah. So I feel like they get taught as if it's okay if you lose, you're still gonna get a prize for it. And here it's like, no, you lose. Like it's okay. You need to learn how to lose.
Yeah.
But over there, it's like
You lost. You suck. Go do
but
something
still
else
go,
with your life.
here's your medal because you lost. It's like it's different.
Participation.
Yeah.
Everybody participates, and everybody deserves a medal for participation.
But that's very American. Yeah.
Yeah, you agree?
No. I mean, I agree that it's American. I don't agree that it's a good thing.
No, I
Yeah.
I didn't ask you if it's
And
a
I
good
really-
thing.
You're like, I don't care about your opinion. I just want to know.
Do you agree with her
Yeah.
analysis?
Yeah, I mean, it's weird because there is like America's like these, like not I don't know. It's like the most capitalist place
Yeah.
you could say, and so competition is obviously a big value there. But yeah, there is that sense like everybody gets a gold sticker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was like that until I got there.
Yeah.
And the thing you said about beauty and its role, the role it plays, or perfection and stuff like that, I wonder how it's implemented in food. You know?
Yeah. So again, there's so many different types of people that are looking for different things. I definitely look for perfection in everything I make, even if it's not like in pastry, but also in food. And that's why I'm not a chef, because chefs are usually like savory chefs. It's more quick, and I have to have my mise en place, which is like everything in its place done before, and it has to be perfect. And I mean, it takes a little more time than savory stuff, but
Do you cook?
yeah, I cook at home.
Yeah.
Nothing professionally,
But when you
but
were
I make some good stuff.
We believe that. But when you became a sous chef,
Yeah.
so it was a sous chef of savory, or was it sous chef
Of pastry.
of pastry?
So we have the restaurant and then the pastry department. And over there's a pastry chef and pastry sous chef.
I see.
And the restaurant's not Michelin, right?
No.
But the
Robuchon one.
the Bouchon was
yeah.
Robuchon was Michelin.
Two,
How
yeah.
was it? How was it working at a restaurant like that?
How does it work?
Amazing. I felt that it was very challenging because everything has to be perfect. You had to work fast. That's how I learned. It was my first job after school, which was amazing to go there right after school. At that point, it wasn't a Michelin star, so the reviewers were there when I was. They might have eaten one of like the Tart
Your
chips.
dish might have gotten them.
Maybe, I don't know,
one of
because
the
we don't
Michelin
know.
stars.
Yeah. So that is exciting
That's
to
amazing.
to be like a part of.
But how does it function? Such a restaurant.
There's also again the savory side and the pastry side, and over there's also a bakery because we make the breads and everything over there. Usually restaurants get their own bread from a different bakery. So over there we had everything, which is very, very good. And then just the savory chef is in charge of the savory, and then the bread chef is in charge of all the breads, and the pastry chef is in charge of all the pastries, and they work together.
And what's the toughest thing you had to make? Is there such thing?
You learn how to make everything it's not like a one thing. Every one thing had so many layers and inserts and like mousses and stuff. So
But was there one thing that was particularly complicated to make? Or they are all just complicated?
no, once you learn the technique,
I
it's
see.
not very complicated. I think what was challenging for me is to work fast. But you always
I have another question.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a cliche of reality cooking shows, but did you ever cry in a cooking job?
From like emotion or from stress?
I don't think so.
What are you, heartless?
No, because you learn that it's a job and all your chef wants is to make you better. So even if it's
Did someone else in your cry? Like one of your friends?
no,
No.
we were a small team.
Okay.
We're just like
That's
5.
disappointing.
Okay, I have a
It
question
might
to make up
happen
for
still.
it. So, I've always had this dilemma in my mind.
Yeah.
You can't cook.
I can't. No,
Yeah.
First of all, I cook.
Yeah,
it's
I
not
ate your
great.
food.
It's
I
not
ate
great.
it.
No,
I
but
ate
I can make a few dishes.
It's edible.
I can make omelets. No, but I've always had this idea. And my mother's a great chef. I think my family's Moroccan. They make some great food. It's not generally the most like I guess the peak of culinary. But I had one experience with a Michelin star restaurant. It was in Budapest, and I ended up in there by accident. We made a reservation at this Michelin star restaurant, and
How can you make that?
because we just searched on TripAdvisor and we found this place called Costa or Costas, and we're like, yeah, look, it had like
Costa
4 stars.
Coffee. Yeah,
We're
sounds
like,
good.
okay, we made a reservation. We went there like 4 guys. And we showed up in like I was like with like a
Yeah,
like
you
a
need to
North
know.
Face jacket, and like my friend had mittens on. It was just like pajama
Shit
pants.
show.
It was, yeah, and we walk in and we're like,
Uh-oh.
but then like 4 guys came up, started taking off our jacket. It's like we
Massaging
were
you.
in.
They didn't stop you?
We were. That's like we were at the point of no return, and we weren't gonna. We were there for a friend's bachelor thing, so we were like, okay, let's make the most of it. And so we sat down and we had a dinner, and like it was just, it was. I mean, it was ridiculous. They brought us these little like
Puny.
semi spheres, like half spheres, on a pallet of Himalayan salt. Now, I didn't explain what it was, and I thought it was like candies. So I went to reach for one, and the waiter was like, basically slapped my hand almost. He didn't really slap my hand, but he was like, "Sir, that's butter." I was about to just eat the whole thing, but anyway.
And then you got the bread.
Yeah, I got the bread. It was really delicious.
He didn't get the memo that it's better for the
So it was quite a shit show. But this is my dilemma. My dilemma is, and I've had good food, and I know that there's good food.
Though
and
you don't know
there's-
what tarte tatin is.
I don't know what tarte
That's
tatin.
besides the point.
But there's obviously like a scale. But I wonder if you think there's any point which is like
A fraud.
what
Is
people
it all
call
fraud?
artsy fartsy, yeah, fraud. Like if there's like a point where it's like, okay, this is like it's good, but like come on.
If she goes and says now the Michelin stars is a fraud, then basically she's out of a job. you know?
Well, we won't tell
No,
anybody.
I'm not working there.
He won't see this. No one will see this.
No, there is a very big difference when it comes to 3 Michelin stars. And older stars, like I think it's just the level of attention to details once it gets to the level of stars. And it's not Michelin stars. It's not just about the food. It's also the atmosphere, the service. Everything is included in one, and that's how you get the stars. If the food is good but the atmosphere is bad, you won't get a Michelin star. It has to come together as a restaurant, and only restaurant gets Michelin stars. So,
But the atmosphere, I have to say, I'm gonna press you a little on this, because I feel like the atmosphere was very uptight. You know what I mean? It wasn't like there are restaurants where you get great food. It's all laid back. Even like great chefs, like Eyal
Yeah.
Shani has like a very, but like
Whether or not he's a great
feel-
chef is debatable.
I like his food, but I'm saying I think the Miznon, for example,
Yeah.
is like, to me, the atmosphere there is much more, I don't know, lively than if you were to go. What's his really nice restaurant called? The one
Where?
the-
Eyal Shani's?
Yeah.
A salon.
No, not a salon. There's
Never mind,
maybe.
okay.
Anyway, if you go to one
Yeah.
of his really kind of high class, expensive restaurants. So I'm wondering if it's like, why do you think we hold this up to a higher
Why does it matter?
degree?
Why does it matter?
Yeah.
The atmosphere.
if
it's all
people
about
look
food.
for that. Again, some people. I personally like the Miznon better than something fancier, but that's just me. A lot of people just prefer something fancy over, let's say, cheaper food.
Yeah, you're
or-
not the audience, man.
No, I know, but that's exactly
but
my
that's
point.
again, that's how, like, what I prefer. I like to make high quality pastries, but I like eating, I don't know, the pad thai and the street foods of Thailand. So
And I think that's what. Okay, I'm gonna say one last thing, and then I'm done with this. But I think that's my point, is that like you're obviously someone who has the palate to differentiate between like has a refined palate to differentiate between like quality food and still you can say, okay,
More
there
in
are
pastry, though.
restaurants. Yeah, but I feel like I wonder if at some point it becomes like some kind of level of elitism. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like there's good food,
yeah,
and good food is good.
yeah.
And I'm not doubting that the chefs that reach the top, they're the good chefs. But I wonder if they kind of ride some kind of wave and say, okay, there's this audience who wants to pay hundreds of dollars for their food, and I'm gonna feed them.
It's like if you're a taxi driver, you need to have a Cadillac if you want the high class
Yeah.
customers, right?
Even though, a Toyota from 98 will get you from point A to point B.
But not in style. Not in style.
Maybe it will stop in the way.
98 Toyota leads to food poisoning.
Yeah, I just think it depends on what people want and
Yeah.
what they're used to. I don't know. Everyone prefers different stuff.
What's
Yeah.
the dessert you like making the most? Did I ask that already?
No.
No, right?
Again, I love making a lot of stuff, but especially when it's just small. When it's like 1-2 bites.
Your best friend has a birthday. What would you cook her or him?
Bake.
Bake. Sorry, bake.
Well, it must be something that she likes. So I don't know. I would make adjustments for her.
She's a tough one.
You should be a politician. You're in the wrong business.
Learn from my dad.
Can we eat the food already?
in a second, Ethan. In a second.
Damn it.
I want to see how long he lasts.
I'm just gonna walk up and.
What nation makes the best pastries?
Definitely Paris.
Paris, France.
So then why not there?
That was. I was thinking of going to Paris or the United States, but I don't know. I feel like the States, I have a lot more connection. Maybe because when I was young, we traveled there a lot, so I wanted to live there, even though it's not the same traveling and living. But I just had this idea. I want to live there, and also I don't know. I'm not a big fan of Europe. I think maybe because I lived in Austria and it wasn't the best experience. I just didn't want to.
Yeah, well,
Go
Hitler
there.
was born there.
Why wasn't it the best?
I went there.
What happened?
I just went
in
there.
Vienna,
Yeah.
in Austria. I mean, I was in 8th grade, and winter is harsh.
Yeah.
You wait for the bus at 6 a.m. when it's dark and snowing, and you come back at 4 p.m. when it's dark and snowing. So basically, all like the hours of the sun, you're just in school.
I thought you
and-
were going to tell us about some traumatizing childhood experience, and you're like,
Anti-Semitism.
No.
winter was tough.
No, seriously, it was just the winter. It was tough. I
That's
don't like
fair enough.
cold, and I love the sun. So
New York has a pretty
I know
has a
that's why
pretty
I'm
harsh
not there now.
winter. Oh, I
That's why I
see.
went to Thailand.
Fair enough. Yeah, this tan you see, it's a Thailand from
Oh, you
Thailand.
see it? Yeah.
And another thing I wanted to ask you, like, what's your dream? Like, do you see yourself coming here? You know what caught my ears? You said that there is no real pastry or school or something in Israel. You said something like that at the beginning. So maybe you should open one or do you have another dream?
Now there is, I mean, the level is pretty good here in Israel. It was just not what I was looking for. Again, I was looking for something that is every single day. And we didn't have that here. I don't know about now, but there are schools here that are pretty good and the level that they offer.
What
so.
is your dream then for the future?
My dream, well, definitely to become a good pastry chef. Don't have to be famous, but the quality of my stuff have to be on point. I would love to have family also. That's also a dream.
Fair enough.
So yeah, I would love to have my small, tiny pastry shop. Not a restaurant.
Where? Tel Aviv or New York?
Provence.
No. That's a good question. I mean, I would love to have it in both. It's just, I feel like sometimes in Israel it's too hard for stuff. So timing, I guess it's all about the timing.
Right.
And where I feel like in New York, because of all the different types of people, a lot of stuff that can be open can be really successful because there's so many people that have different tastes. But I don't know. I guess we'll have to see.
Okay. And now, ladies and gentlemen,
Yes. Okay, sorry.
Da-da-da-da.
I'm getting too excited.
Sir Weinstein shall taste. We can
Wait.
fake it like it's a Michelin restaurant. Sir,
I need a palate cleanser.
He would think that it's butter. No, that it's candy.
this is not butter.
This is not butter.
No.
Okay, now I ask that before I eat anything. It's like a.
It's not.
Okay, go ahead and
There is
describe
butter
it.
in it.
Describe
Oh,
what you.
God. Yeah.
It's worth emphasizing that sugar is not healthy,
So
guys.
this is
Not healthy.
like a
But it's good.
cookie bottom, a sugar cookie bottom. You said.
Yeah, with like cinnamon. Yeah.
Okay. And these are layers of. You know what? Never mind. I
It
don't care.
looks like a Shakespeare.
Wow, in one bite.
Yeah.
You can hear it.
Have one.
Wow. Oh my god.
No, but you need to eat all the layers. Okay, thanks.
No, it tastes.
What I really, really
Amazing.
love about pastry is that you can make like something that has just one texture. Put a mousse in a cup and it would have just one texture. But if you put different types of textures in the cup with the mousse, it's so much more interesting.
I'm gonna give our audience like a close-up view of it because it's so nice. And
Okay, what I love. Yeah, he lost it.
look at this, guys.
It's all focus. Your
Can't see it? Huh? This is amazing.
um,
What are these gold flakes?
It's gold leaf.
it's a gold leaf. What I liked about it,
Yeah.
it's delicious. It's not too
Thank you.
sweet. You know, we are so used to over sweetness, right?
Yeah.
It's just enough. Not too sweet. It's also a little bit sour, which is fun from the apples.
Because the apples, yeah.
Yeah.
He loves the cookies.
Yeah, he loves the cookie. I want to ask you about the cookies because you know you have those who make a crunchy cookie,
Yeah.
and you make soft cookies,
Yeah.
or at least this one
Oh,
is
you
soft.
definitely went the right way with that, by the way.
Thank
Soft
you.
crunchy cookies are just
Yeah.
Awful.
I like soft cookies
Yeah.
too.
They say Nazis ate crunchy cookies
yeah. They invented the crunchy cookie.
I don't-
before the Cyclone B.
Yeah,
That was
that's why they got so like upset and did all the things they did because of the crunchy cookie.
I didn't hear that one.
So
Okay.
the cookie.
The cookie's amazing. I had
It's
one
amazing.
before, guys. The cookie's amazing because it's like it's not just chewy. There's that Chips Ahoy, you know Chips Ahoy.
Yeah.
So okay, they also are pretty great actually. But Chips
I hope
Ahoy
they're
has
not
that.
better than
No,
mine.
no, they're not. But they have because they have that artificial chewiness that you can. This is just like there's a chewiness that's almost like a chewiness and a crunchiness. I think that's what makes things delicious. If I had to define
Textures.
but it's like it's a balance. It's like you don't want something that you want crunchy, you want chewy, you want kind of like a mesh between, and this is like exactly that. I'm gonna
Well,
have
thank
one
you.
and shut up.
Just one.
I'm gonna have the rest of them. Oh my god, it's so good.
Yeah, they're amazing. And I guess hopefully in the future people can go to New York and try your things because there's no other option
Or
as
here.
of now. Or here.
Yeah.
Do you do like if someone calls you and invites you to do a private event, it's something that you do?
Not at this point, but
Okay.
I might. I'm not saying no because I never know what's gonna happen, but I'm open to many things.
By the way, one of the trends now in Tel Aviv, there's this new service. It's called night cookies. You heard about it?
I heard
Yeah.
There's like in New York all those
Yeah.
stuff too, so yeah.
Here it's pretty new, so they basically you order
Deliver
cookie. You get hot cookie. It's for dope heads, basically.
I have a friend who you know, by the way, but I won't publicize his name here. Who basically got high one night, and then
Is it you?
and then ordered. Yeah, I have a friend who you know, who's this guy. No, it's not me. Anyway, he got
It is
high.
you. Okay.
He got high. And he ordered these cookies, and then he fell asleep. But the thing is, he ordered them for 2 days later. Sorry, he wasn't high when he ordered. He ordered them because they only do Wednesday to Saturday.
Yeah.
And he ordered them on like a Tuesday night or a Monday night.
Because he
he
planned
was like,
to
I'm
get
gonna
high.
want it.
Do you need to order it in advance? You can't just call and
No,
say,
you
"I
can
want
call
cookies."
them, but you can
Okay.
also order on like a Monday or Tuesday. And he ordered it for that Wednesday, and then on Wednesday he got high, and he fell asleep, like really dying for a dessert. And then lo and behold, there was a ring at his. He completely forgot there was a ring at his door. Cookies. I found that to be the
What's
most
the
amazing
moral
story.
of the story?
Basically,
That was him.
you should order cookies to your house at random times.
Okay. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Sir?
Can I have another cookie?
Yeah. Eat it and shut up. Yuval,
Yeah.
do you want to plug something before we go? The restaurant? Maybe. Okay. That's a no. Okay.
I don't think she's decided yet.
Okay.
So I guess not.
So before we go,
Yeah.
we have a collaboration with the Jewish Journal.
I'll do it with a
That-
mouthful of cookies.
Was
Sorry?
very fast.
Was it?
Yeah.
It's 50 minutes.
That was very
We have a
fast.
collaboration with the Jewish Journal, jewishjournal.com. They have podcasts, great articles, great writers. They're the best, basically. So check them out at jewishjournal.com. Did you finish the cookie? Okay. So we don't only accept cookies and baked goods. We also accept donations.
Guys, we do this on our free time. So if you would like to donate, you can go to 2njb.com/donate and throw a few shekels our way.
And that's it, basically. Yuval, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for
You're the
having
best.
me.
This was
Thank you.
amazing.
Thank you for coming, but really, mostly, thank you for the cookies.
Yeah.
I know. You're gonna invite me again just for them.
Exactly.
Thank you so much.
Maybe I'll do a midnight cookie delivery.
That would be successful.
But you'd have to cook the cookies, bake the cookies. All
Thank you
right.
so much. Bye, guys.